Donald Trump has done it again. This time he is not just talking for himself, he's talking for India too. In his latest remarks, the US President claimed that Prime Minister Narendra Modi personally assured him that India will stop buying oil from Russia. Hello and namaskar, you're watching KATV India and this is me, Varsha Venugopal. Let's see what Delhi has to say, because Delhi has a very different story to tell in this matter. Trump's statement came during one of his fiery public appearances. He said, "I was not happy that India was buying oil from Russia." Modi assured him today that they will not be buying any more. That's a big stop. He even added it's a process, it cannot happen immediately, but it's started. He went as far as to ask the crowd, "Can I say that? Would you say there will be no oil?" According to Trump, this supposed assurance came during a call on Wednesday. But there's the twist. Indian officials say there was no Modi-Trump call at all. India's response was calm but firm. The Ministry of External Affairs said that India's energy policy is guided by two goals: stable prices and secured supplies. A government spokesperson explained ensuring stable energy prices and secured supplies have been the twin goals of our energy policy. This includes broad-basing our energy sourcing and diversifying as appropriate to meet market conditions. In short, India will buy oil from whoever it wants, whenever it needs, as long as it protects Indian consumers. Let's rewind a little. Before 2022, India barely bought any oil from Russia. But when the Ukraine war began, the West stopped purchasing Russian crude. That created a vacuum and a global oil price shoot up. So, to stabilize the market and control domestic prices, India stepped in and began buying discounted Russian oil. Ironically, back then, even the Joe Biden administration had praised India for helping stabilize global prices. Now, fast forward to this year, 2025. According to the Hindu, India's state-owned refineries have trimmed Russian oil imports by 45% between June and September. That means imports fell from 1.1 million barrels per day in June to around 600,000 barrels per day in September. But that doesn't mean Russian oil is gone from India's books. Private refineries are still buying, keeping imports alive, though at a slower pace. Another interesting development, India has reportedly made some oil payments to Russia in Chinese yuan. A money control report says Indian state refineries made yuan payments for 2 or 3 Russian cargoes. Russia's Deputy Prime Minister confirmed this, but added that the percentage was very small. Now, this might sound strange. India using the Chinese currency despite being rivals, but experts say it's a pragmatic move. It helps keep transactions following when Western sanctions make dollar payments complicated. Again, India's logic is simple. This is about business, not politics. Moscow isn't upset either. The Russian ambassador to India, Denis Alipu, told reporters, "We proceed from the understanding that the policy of the Indian government reflects the interests of the Indian people and the national economy. These goals do not contradict Russia-India relations. So, Russia sees India's oil decision as practical, not political, and that's exactly how New Delhi wants it." But there's another layer: shrinking discounts. Earlier, Russian oil offered India a $6 per barrel discount compared to the Dubai benchmark. Now that discount is barely 80 cents. With the advantage disappearing, importing from nearby West Asian countries is becoming more attractive. Also, Russia's refining capacity has taken a hit. The New York Times reports that Ukrainian drone attacks have damaged or destroyed 20% of Russia's refining capacity. That's 1.5 million barrels per day. So, for India, it's risky to depend too much on a single supplier. Reuters data shows that Russia still accounts for about 36% of India's total oil imports, roughly 1.7 million barrels per day in the 6 months through September. That's a big share, almost one-third of India's energy basket, and a potential risk if supplies get disrupted. Hence, India is diversifying, increasing imports from the US, the Middle East, and even Latin American countries. At the same time, India plans to host Vladimir Putin later this year for talks on trade and defense, showing that diplomacy continues despite the oil friction. What's the takeaway? Trump's claim might sound dramatic, but India is not walking away from Russian oil overnight. New Delhi's stand is clear: energy security first, Indian consumers first. No political pressure can dictate where India buys its oil from. Oil for India is an economic decision, not a geopolitical statement. And as the global prices continue to fluctuate, India's strategy remains focused: buy smart, diversify sources, and protect consumers. So, while Trump may have declared a big stop, the truth is far from nuanced. India hasn't turned off the Russian tap. It's simply adjusting the flow. After all, when it comes to oil, diplomacy and economies often travel in the same barrel.